can't not smile.
It's crazy.
Wow. Wow. It is good work. Wow.
What is up, everyone? I'm excited to put out this full build video on the electric Hypercart. I don't know what to call it. It's gonna end up looking more like a little mini supercar when it's all said and done, but for now it looks just like a bare stripped down go-kart, but it is in its functional form. Not the final form, but the functional form. So in this video, we're walking through how it went from just a bare frame with some modifications done to it all the way up to the point where the wheels are spinning. And then we're gonna be testing that in upcoming videos and then putting the final finishing touches on, building the body that goes around it, all that stuff to come still. But this video walks us through start to finish of connecting motors and controllers. Obviously, if you've been watching, following along, the batteries were done in the past video, so that one's not included here, but if you're interested in those, check them out. I just released a video walking through all the systems in their finished format. We won't get a walkthrough in this, we'll just do the build up to the point where things are turning. So they're kind of separate and unique in that. If you're interested in one or the other, you can check out the opposite video if you don't feel like you got what you needed here. But hopefully this full detailed build shows some of the thought process, shows some of the successes and failures that led up to the point where it's working. So we'll jump into the time lapse and I'll catch you guys at the end. and shut it down for now. I've got to troubleshoot a bit more, try to get it to connect. I might have to pull out the computer and connect to it without the Bluetooth app. But I'm gonna explore the folder that they shared with me to see if there's any other resource that I'm missing for how to connect this correctly. I've done some controller connecting, pulled a couple of wires out of this 9-pin connectors, a couple of wires out of the 6-pin connectors up here. The black connector was an 8-pin that goes straight to the motors, that's unchanged. From here, I pulled out some throttle cables, which I've repinned and run to the front. It's the positive, negative, and signal wires for the Hall sensor throttle. I also pulled out of here a key switch, which is right here. Running this to the 12-volt positive. This tells it that the key was thrown, and so obviously my 12 volts all through a switch, so that's mimicking the signal of an ignition switch there. And then I'm also pulling these two off of here, which is the positive and negative for the controller that run off of there. So if I throw this switch, which I also wired in, this is running up here and back down. This is supposed to go on the left side over here, so it's got extra wire there. When I throw this switch, it turns on that relay, which then sends power to 12 volt, which then opens the contactor, so I get 96 volts main through to the controllers. And I also get my 12 volt to turn on, which turns on 12 volt in the back, turns on the 12 volt line I have in the front for some of my accessories up there. And I have my Bluetooth modules connect to the controllers. So I'll just show you what happens when I flip this switch. All that activates. Controllers have not yet been programmed, and because the Bluetooth modules are there, I should be able to connect to it and program those in, autolearn, all that. I heard that it beeps incessantly until you do. So we're gonna toss it and see what happens. Both controllers live. I'm gonna pull up my phone and see if we can get it to recognize one or both of those. I have 950 and 363. So hypothetically, that's 1 and 2 of the others. DYU is an e-bike that has Bluetooth apparently. Let's see if we can connect to this. So the last check-in was from last night at about 1 a.m. and I'm standing a bit back from the controllers now because I got some beeps going on. I ended up realizing my main problem was I had the orange key line connected to 12 volt, which is through my relay. It needs to go through a switched 96 volt. So I got to redo some of the wiring when I do the tear down. For now, I've got it running through a separate switch. I initially defaulted to, I knew it could have been either one of the two, but I put it on the 12 volt because I didn't want to fry anything if it wasn't meant for 96 volt. So I got on the 96 volt right now, but I've got some beeps going on because right now I've finally connected to one of my controllers, but the second one is still doing a beep cycle. Apparently when I turned them both on, they both had a motor temperature, like a high motor temperatures warning, which obviously is not true. I need to go through some self-learning to get rid of some of that. One of them is saying a double beep right now, which always beeps twice until auto learning is done, is what I'm reading. So I'm gonna try doing the auto learn now. I'm gonna film one of it and then I gotta disconnect and switch to the other one and do the same process. So I will maybe do the first one to do some troubleshooting on my own and then catch you guys for the second one and show you the process when the beeping's kind of chilled out. Because as of right now, the beeping's going kind of wild with the 7 and the 2 on each controller having its own. So I'll catch you on the second one. So I got the app open. It's just called the Nanjing Fardriver app. I had to go to COM, I had to click scan and then pick the controller. Those are my two controllers, the 363 and the 950. I clicked the top one, you click connect, and then it says connecting. In most cases, it didn't let me ever connect. It just sort of showed that cycle over and over again. But I've got connected to it now. And so from that, you can go back to, I guess, this one here. And you'd click auto learn. I did that, nothing happened. It turns out it defaults to neutral. So you actually have to go back to the parameters. You actually have to go to expert down here. If you scroll to the close to the bottom, gear default N. I'm gonna put it in gear default button low for now. So if I go to the graph now, it shows I'm in drive low, which is great. Now if I do auto learn, I should get one of my motors to do its thing. All you'll do is you'll hit auto learn and you'll just hold the throttle down all the way to the bottom. It's gonna spin one direction, it's gonna stop and reverse and then stop, and it's gonna give you an error. So you can enter. I'm taking you guys through my learning process today. I originally was trying to use 2 Bluetooth modules. One of them right here, which actually came with 2 other controllers that we got for scam car and a motorcycle, a couple other things. Turns out I had issues connecting because I was trying to connect it to the other module. If I take this module and I move it between my 2 controllers, it connects fine. So that solved one of my problems, the connection issue. The other problem is it had been showing me that there was a temperature error. It turns out that instead of just going straight to the auto learn, in which case it learned all the different parameters about the motor, I had to actually start by changing the temperature sensor. I started as the incorrect one. The one that's correct is actually the KTY 83122, I believe. But I'm not allowed to select that one for whatever reason. So instead of selecting the wrong one, for now I just went ahead and turned off the temperature sensor, which got rid of my temperature error. The 7 beeps means temperature error. I disconnected and switched controllers. Let me scan and connect to the other controller here. Okay, we're connected. Now if I go to, there you see it says motor temperature protect. It started off as the NTC 230K. I'm supposed to pick based on the diagram, it comes as KTY 83122. But if I try to click on 83122 right there, it doesn't actually change. So my options are limited. Either I choose the wrong one for now, or I go ahead and click none. I'll get support at some point. But that turns off all of the errors on each of these. Theoretically now, I should be able to run autolearn. So let's see what it does now that it's not stopping itself. I'm gonna go ahead and enter autolearn. You'll notice that autolearn pops up right there. Now it's beeping, saying we're doing autolearn. Let's see what we do. We just hold this down. Okay, now it's switching directions. Okay, now we're in neutral. Go ahead and release that. It says we're done. Let's see if that's still moving. It is actually very slowly for whatever reason. We'll go ahead and exit learn. Let's see what it does here. That noise you're hearing is actually just the sprocket rattling on there. I'm gonna try autolearn again because clearly the throttle is having issues here. There we go. That looks like that ran correctly here. I'm gonna go ahead and exit learn. It's already exited. It says system okay, but the 2 beeps is indicating something. Let's see what that's indicating. I think it's indicating a throttle problem. Let me go ahead and reset this. So I'm gonna switch to the power of the controller. Connecting, connected, great. It says system is okay. Let's see what it does if I throttle this a little bit. Hey, nice. Oh. It's holding out for some reason. I'm gonna go ahead and kill the power. this again. I think I had cruise control function potentially. We're gonna need to play with some settings. I'm rolling right now. I want to see this.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let's see it.
All right, you ready for it?
Yeah, let's see it.
All right. I can't not smile.
It's crazy.
Wow. Wow. You did good work.